Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In today's international news, the alleged Russian secret agent who posed as a Canadian entrepreneur named Donald Harthfield claimed a former Clinton administration national security official was an advisor to his company. A federal criminal complaint by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan charged 11 people, including Mr. Harthfield, with being Russian secret agents sent to the U.S. to infiltrate policymaking circles and to help the Russian spy agency SVR cultivate intelligence targets. A 2008 version of the website for Mr. Harthfield's company, FutureMap, lists Leon Forth, former Vice President Al Gore's top national security aide, as an advisor. Mr. Forth, in an email to the Wall Street Journal, denied he was ever an advisor to FutureMap. Mr. Forth said that he met with Mr. Harthfield after delivering a speech and that Mr. Harthfield once proposed a partnership on a research grant. Mr. Forth said that Mr. Harthfield introduced himself after a speech he gave and described himself as having similar interest in the subject of long-range foresight as a means for making better decisions. Eventually, he proposed that we look for a way to partner on a research grant, but the idea didn't appeal to me. Once he understood that I was not interested, he stopped communicating completely.
In U.S. news, the American Civil Liberties Union filed a suit over the U.S. government's no-fly list, saying it violates individuals' rights. The suit, filed on behalf of 10 U.S. citizens or lawful residents, says thousands have been barred from commercial air travel with no chance to address the basis for their apparent inclusion on the list. An ACLU lawyer said the complaint was the first to be filed on behalf of U.S. legal residents seeking systematic reform and raising the issue of constitutionality because of the lack of a procedure for people to challenge their inclusion on the list. People on the no-fly list, which came into existence after the September 11, 2001 attacks, are banned from flying inside the United States as well to and from the country. The 10 plaintiffs have been placed on the list sometime this year and do not know why they are on it. The government's report indicates the list has swelled since last year's attempted Christmas Day bombing of a U.S. airliner flying from Amsterdam to Detroit. Defendants named in the suit are the U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, FBI's Chief Robert Mueller, and Timothy Healy, the director of the Terrorist Screening Center, an FBI entity that has a database of information about people known or reasonably suspected of being involved in terrorist activity. The lawsuit filed in Oregon seeks the removal of plaintiffs' names from any no-fly list or a hearing at which they can offer evidence against their inclusion on the list. Paul Bresson, the unit chief in the FBI National Press Office, said the agency does not comment on litigation or on whether an individual may be on a watch list.
In today's green news, turning off the lights when you're not using them is an old, well-known way of saving electricity. So old, in fact, that it's become a bit cliche to mention it as a way of trimming energy consumption. Bigger impacts like flying less or going vegetarian have started to take the spotlight. But the old off-switch trick for lights and other electronics isn't done yet. A new study shows that in Great Britain, small changes in energy consumption might make a bigger difference than we thought. According to a new study by Imperial College London, published in Science Direct, UK government advisors are figuring out how much CO2 is saved by trimming electricity use. Dr. Adam Hawks, author of the study, says the issue stems from the government not tracking emissions from the various types of power plants. Each type of power plant has a different CO2 rate. It's only the power plants using fossil fuels that can respond to changes in electricity demand. By tracking 60 million data points showing the amount of electricity produced every half hour at every power station in Great Britain from 2002 to 2009 and calculating the emissions from each type of generator, Hawks calculated the emissions rate that should be given to changes in electricity demand. The current estimated figure for emissions rates used in the UK is 0.43 kilograms of CO2 per kilowatt hour of electricity consumed. But this is 60% lower than the actual rates tracked between 2002 and 2009, which shows 0.69 kilograms of CO2 per kilowatt hour.
You're stuck on a treadmill. You're making minimum payments on your credit cards, and you just don't get anywhere. Let Consolidated Credit tell you the truth. When credit card companies are charging high interest, it's virtually impossible to pay off your debt. Let's say you owe $5,000 and your rate is 21%. Of your $100 minimum payment, $87 is interest. It'll take you over 33 years to pay off that debt. Call Consolidated Credit. They'll get the credit card companies to reduce or eliminate your interest. Get off the treadmill. Get on with your life. Call Consolidated Credit. They're the freedom people.
In travel news, fireworks illuminate the sky in small towns and big cities across America to celebrate the 4th of July. Here are selections for the top 5 July 4th fireworks displays around the country. In New York, fireworks light up the Big Apple's west side during Macy's 4th of July fireworks display. The country's largest pyrotechnic show kicks off at 9:20 p.m. from 6 barges lining the Hudson River. These barges stretch for 1.5 miles between 24th and 50th Streets. The dazzling lights display, featuring over 40,000 fireworks shells soaring up to 1,000 feet in the air, is rivaled only by the New York Pops Orchestra. It's a mile-long shower of golden sparks that make the plunge to the Hudson River and also feature mysterious ghost shells that flash into the air and quickly reappear in a new color. In Boston, Massachusetts, the Boston Pops Concert Fireworks Spectacular brings the 1812 Overture and about 500,000 visitors to the Charles River for the annual July 4th celebration. Spectators head alongside the Charles River and stand in line to secure some blanket space in the oval, which generally fills to capacity by 2 p.m. The conductor kicks things off at 8 p.m. with the national anthem and a flyover before the famed Boston Pops breaks into the 1812 Overture at 9:30. At 10:30, the dazzling fireworks display lights up the sky. If you're in town for the fireworks, extend the fun with events sponsored by Harborfest, including concerts, children's activities, and a seafood feast at Chowderfest. Celebrate America's birthday in its birthplace of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, surrounded by the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall. The Wawa Welcome America Festival is 11 days of city celebrations with the taste of Philadelphia, outdoor films, and all-you-can-eat ice cream. On July 4th, the patriotic scene is set with a parade of armed bands, bugle corps, and weaving through the historic neighborhood. The party on the Parkway kicks off at noon with food and fun on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, billed as the largest free concert in the country. The Life, Liberty, and You concert starts at 8 p.m. and transitions into the fireworks at 10:30 at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. In Washington, D.C., celebrate Independence Day in our nation's capital during July 4th festivities. Start the day with bands and floats as the Independence Day Parade along Constitution Avenue are celebrating America's past at the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. A Capitol 4th concert is a star-studded concert event on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol building. Admission is free, but it will take stamina to get a spot after the gates open at 3 p.m. The concert begins at 8 and features television and movie stars, rock legends, and queens and kings of country music. For the grand finale, the U.S. Army Herald Trumpets play the 1812 Overture with live cannon fire and additional music by the U.S. Army Ceremonial Band, the U.S. Marine Drum and Bugle Corps, and other military bands. At around 9:15, fireworks launch from the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool illuminate the sky behind the Washington Monument. Last but not least is Houston, Texas, where everything lives up to the reputation that everything is bigger in Texas, with the largest land-based fireworks show in the U.S. The Freedom Over Texas event has live country music followed by an impressive show of dazzling fireworks lighting up the sky at Eleanor Tinsley Park. Before the show, check out the military artifacts and vehicles at KBR Liberty Park or visit the Kids Zone for music, magic, and stories. The show incorporates patriotic favorites with modern rock and roll for an explosive and spirited celebration. The fireworks show is set off from Buffalo Bayou in the park just west of the downtown area.
In today's tech news, many customers are complaining that the iPhone 4's antenna loses the signal when you hold it a certain way. They're not delusional. Independent tests lend credence to the issue. A study led by AnandTech saw a major drop in signal strength when the iPhone 4 was cupped tightly, covering a sensitive area in the lower left corner. The iPhone 4's external band is actually 2 antennas, one for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS, and the other for voice and data. And according to AnandTech, touching the point in the lower left where the 2 antennas meet causes issues. AnandTech wrote, "The fact of the matter is that either the most sensitive region of the antenna should have an insulating coating, or everyone should use a case. For a company that uses style heavily as a selling point, the latter isn't an option, and the former would require an unprecedented admission of fault on Apple's part." Immediately after the iPhone 4's release, several customers reported that covering the handset in the bottom left corner caused major signal loss, signified by dropped bars on the screen. Criticism about the iPhone 4's reception doesn't look good for Apple. For years, dissatisfied customers have quibbed about the smartphone's spotty 3G network performance. Apple claimed the iPhone 4's new antenna design would significantly improve reception. Already, the erratic behavior of the iPhone 4 antenna has spawned many lawsuits. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.